Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you some basic hand drawing techniques. Drawing by hand is a very important skill for engineers to develop because it allows us to communicate complicated ideas quickly, and it can be done almost anywhere. All you need is a pen or a pencil and something to draw on. Learning how to draw well and draw quickly takes time and practice, and I don't expect any of you to be master illustrators by the end of the semester. I certainly am not. I also don't expect any of you to draw very well right now. But I do expect you to follow my directions on how to draw and to work on developing your skills throughout the semester. If you take this seriously and work on your drawing assignments a little bit every day, then I think you'll be surprised by how much you will have improved come December. Okay, so now I'm going to draw this box or rectangular prism. It's sitting on my desk right now, and I placed something behind it to keep it from falling over. I put it in this orientation on purpose because I didn't want any of the edges of the box to be aligned with the edges of my sheet of paper. For this drawing, I'm going to draw what we call the natural view of the box. The natural view of an object is the way the object appears to us through our own eyes. That is, I'm not going to draw it with respect to any particular coordinate system or in any standard orientation. Later on, we will be drawing objects according to specific standard orientations, such as orthographic projections and isometric views. But for now, I'm just going to try and draw the box as it appears to me, sitting here on my desk. So the first thing I want to do is to get some sense of the relative height and width of my drawing. To do this, I'm going to hold up my pencil in front of the box, close one eye, and then align the tip of my pencil with the topmost point of my view of the box. Then I'm going to slide my thumb along the pencil until the tip of my thumb is at the bottommost point of the box. This gives me a relative estimate of the height of my drawing. Now, without moving my thumb, I'm going to rotate the pencil 90 degrees and then align the tip of the pencil with the rightmost point on the box. And now by looking at the leftmost point of the box, I can see that the width of my drawing is going to be a little bit smaller than its height, maybe about 3/4 or 4/5 as wide as it is tall. Okay, so then on my paper, I'm going to start my drawing by making a rectangle. I'll begin with two light horizontal lines, one at the top and one at the bottom. And then I'll add a light line along the right side. Now I can see how tall my rectangle is, so 4/5 of this distance would put my left side about here. And we call this rectangle the bounding box because it gives us a sense of the boundaries of our drawing. It's okay if our drawing extends outside the box, it's just that without a bounding box, it's easy to make the drawing too big at the beginning and then not be able to get it all on one page. When laying out your bounding box, try to make your drawings as big as possible. If you have an entire sheet of paper at your disposal, use as much of it as you can. In other words, don't make your drawings any smaller than you have to. Now, the lines I used to draw the bounding box are called construction lines. These are lightweight lines, and we use them to help us set up our drawings. You should always start a drawing by putting down lots and lots of construction lines. For right now, when you're just starting to develop your drawing skills, you should be very liberal in your use of construction lines. The more, the better. And notice how the lines I draw are long and continuous. Your construction lines should also be long and continuous. Don't try to make a long line using a bunch of short strokes. And don't draw curved lines like this either. Your lines should be smooth and continuous. When you draw with a bunch of short strokes, you end up with what I call a hairy drawing, like this one. See how it looks hairy? This kind of drawing looks weak, like the engineer lacks confidence. You don't want that. So you need to relax and let the lines flow from your pencil. And don't worry about making a mistake. Lots of students, when they're just starting out, think that every line they draw has to be perfect, and it's hard for them to let go of their fear of making mistakes. The fact is that no drawing you or I make will ever be perfect, because perfect just doesn't exist. But we can be successful in creating a good drawing. And what makes a good drawing? Well, a good drawing is one that clearly communicates an idea as intended by the drawer. Okay, enough preaching for now. Back to the drawing. So I've got my bounding box. And now I'm going to take another look at the actual box on my desk and try to get a sense of where the extreme top, bottom, left, and right points are located. So I have a point about here on the right and another one about here on the left. And the top point is about here and the bottom point about here. Okay, now I know there is a line connecting these 2 points and a line connecting these 2 points. And these 2 lines should be about parallel. So I'll draw in some more construction lines here and here. Oh, and since the objects we'll be drawing are not very large, we don't need to worry about including perspective in our drawings. If I was drawing a building or a large ship or something really big, then I might want to make my lines converge to a point in the distance. But for something relatively small like this box, I'm just going to assume that any parallel lines or edges on my object will be parallel on my drawing. Okay, what's next? Well, there's this edge on the box that, in my view, comes down from this point at a slight angle. So I'll put a construction line there. And there's a similar edge at the bottom here. And then I've got this edge, which is at about a 45-degree angle. And this edge down here. All right, and then I have a line parallel to this one, and a line parallel to this one, and a line parallel to this one. And now I have all my construction lines laid down for now. So the next step is to pick out the correct construction lines and go over them again with my pencil, this time making them a little darker. These are the lines that will actually represent the box. We call these normal lines, or common lines, or sometimes part lines. And now you can see the box. Okay, now I'll add the 2 circles. I'll start by dividing this face with a construction line. And now to draw the circle, well, from my view, the circles appear as ellipses. So how do I draw them? Well, I know that this circle is going to go through these 4 points. And at these points, it will be tangent to these lines. So I draw a construction line like this, and then like this, and like this, and like this. And as long as it doesn't look too far off, I'm happy. And I do the same thing over here, again using only construction lines. And then when I'm satisfied, I go over the construction lines with visible lines. There we go. Almost done. Okay, the last step then, and I learned this from an artist friend of mine, is to go over the outline of an object with a heavy dark line. So any edge on my drawing that is touching empty space, I make heavy and dark. These lines are called profile lines or outlines, and they make the drawing kind of pop on the page. Before I finish, let me just add in some hidden lines. These are lines that we can't see because the object is in front of them, but they still exist. So for the box, I know there is an edge in the back parallel to this edge, and another one here, and another one here. And to represent hidden lines, we used a dash line like so. One last line type to mention for now is the center line, which is used to represent axes or planes of symmetry, and is drawn as a long dash followed by a short dash, and then this repeats. All right, so there's my drawing, and I think it looks pretty good. Okay, that's it. See you in class.